Let's look at some of the measures or some of the different ways of measuring the hotel's performance, which may lead to certain bad decisions. For example, comparing the performance with the interest rate based on the investment in hotels. Now, some of the owners may also see, or some of the owners are saying that if we the hotel's value is maybe $100 million and we are not even able to generate the the interest bank interest rate in the hotels, that is not a right way of comparing the hotel's performance, because the hotel's performance is the hotel's revenue performance, and the other is not dependent on the market value of the hotel. It depends on the market of the tourism. If the tourism market is bad, you will not be able to generate anything. And usually the hotels are performing over a longer period of time, where you may be able to generate a much higher return, not only from the performance but also from the capital gain in the building. So you should not always be comparing your hotel's performance with the interest rate or with the other alternative use of the building, because there are different matrices. So comparing them will not give you a correct strategy or correct decision. Then sometimes we are also thinking about to maximize the full occupancy days. Now, full occupancy days is also again a myth, that if the hotel is 100% occupied, it's giving you a better return. It's not. You can fully occupy the rates by dropping your rates to the lowest in the market. It will be 100% occupied. But what is the yield, and what is the profitability of getting those customers? What is the profitability of serving those customers? So it's not, the full occupancy days now is not a right strategy to think about the hotel's performance. Again, selling rates compared to the comp set. Some of the hotels sometimes are saying that we should not be selling lower than our competitor, or higher than, we should always be higher than our competitor. The selling rates are not the one which are deciding the hotel's price positioning. So because hotels have different prices based on the guest geography, the guest, it can have, based on geography costs be different, based on the business segment it can be different, based on the room rate it can be based on the room category it can be different, based on the features that you are providing in the hotel can also be different, based on the location in the city can be different. So you cannot compare the selling rates only with the competition. Labor cost percentage to the revenue without thinking of the other expenses or the GOP percentage. Usually the hotels have been comparing the labor cost as a traditional, that okay, the labor cost is 20% of the occupants of the total revenue, 30% of the total revenue. But labor cost can be lower, labor cost can be managed by outsourcing a lot of things, which will increase the cost of other operations, i.e. impacting the GOP percentage. So labor cost alone should not be considered as into decision making, because it's not a complete measure. Rather than better way is the GOP or GOP per available room, which is more better indication of how we are managing the operational efficiency in the hotel. Or the food and beverage cost comparison. Normally, the hotels are also comparing the restaurant's food and beverage cost with a competitor or in the market. However, food and beverage cost percentage itself is not a correct metrics to determine the hotel's performance or the operating performance. Sometimes we may be selling uh, items which are high cost but giving a high but giving us a very high volume, and optimizing the performance from the staff, or utilizing the time value of the time of the restaurant or the seat occupancy of the restaurant. There is no point in selling very high rate, e.e. lower food and beverage cost, and leaving the restaurant seats empty. Rather than that, you can sell them at a cheaper price, e.e. Higher food cost, but maximize the space, because hotels normally have a perishable inventory. Means if is one is gone, it's gone, you will not be able to resell it again. So it's better to maximize the revenue or the profit while the inventory is still available, because the time is the most critical factor in hotel business.